Super Rugby round 7, the Saturday games, 2 wins. Similar scorelines for the winning teams, but not quite the hosts. Yeah, both the hosts going down. Kind of both interesting results for different reasons. But yeah, we'll have a look at the first one. It was the Hurricanes hosting the Crusaders in Wellington. All the talk before this game, Crusaders hadn't gone a win in Wellington since I think it was 2012. Yeah, well they did that this week. 32 points to 8, 4 tries to 1. It is a bonus point win for the Crusaders. I picked the Hurricanes, so I feel a bit silly for that one. Man, did they get beaten. That, if you're a Hurricanes fan, must be one of the worst performances you've seen from a Canes team in a very, very long time. The first try was to Will Jordan. Well, the first points was a Hurricanes penalty, but that was the only time the Hurricanes were in the lead. Jordan followed up with a try from a haul kick and had some good hands to get it down. Yeah, their kicking was finding some grass, was the Crusaders, and it was meaning the Hurricanes were struggling. You can't give like relatively soft, still smart from the Crusaders, but you can't give those kind of soft tries to the Crusaders because they will punish you all day long. Crusaders were also punished with a yellow card to Matt Todd. Crusaders fans will feel a bit hard done by. Canes fans will say, fair enough, can't be where he was. It was a quick tap to Perenara, and he stuffed it up, but Todd was kind of in the way, so Todd ended up paying the price. Yellow card, and it was during that period that Laumape went in for the Hurricanes' only try of the game on 32 minutes. They missed the conversion. At least there was a bit of power from him. But the Crusaders also kicked a penalty during that yellow card period. So the yellow card period finished 5 points to the Canes, 3 points to the Crusaders. That was probably the time that the Hurricanes needed to make hay, and they didn't. So, yep, not the best. Havili got 2 tries in this one, 24 minutes and 44. Like I said, one of them was a kick finding a wee bit of space. And one of them started from a Fetu Douglas intercept. He read it like a book. And eventually, after a few phases, Havili managed to go in and get the try. Eno went in the left corner with some quick ball for the final one, and the Crusaders kicked the penalty. 32 points to 8. Man, was that one-sided. Interestingly as well, George Bridge was out before the game started, so they had to kind of shuffle the back line. Jordan had to start, Eno had to move, so Crusaders didn't look any the worse for it. Speaking of the worst though, Kieran Reid only made it through half the game. I haven't read any updates about what's the deal with him. But yeah, that's a bit disconcerting for the All Blacks. The Canes, man, like I don't know what I can say apart from just bad. So many errors, and it seemed like, you know, when someone really wants to beat you so badly at anything, like a game or cards or video games, soccer, rugby, whatever game it is, when they try too hard, they make mistakes. And that seemed to be what the Canes were doing this time. They felt like they had to prove a point. They were just rushing, trying too much. And when they needed to settle, they weren't settled. So they just ended up stuffing a lot of things up. And it was the areas that you thought they might struggle that they actually did okay. Like their scrum was getting on top. Fair enough, the Crusaders got some props out. But the Hurricanes, where they're supposed to be poor, were not. And it was areas just simple kind of handling that was letting them down. So and throwing stupid intercepts. So yeah, man, it really added up. Too many mistakes. Tackling percentage, Crusaders were at a massive 91%. For Super Rugby, that's huge. Like that's pretty rarely seen. The Hurricanes were at 86, which is still relatively high for Super Rugby, but yeah, that Crusaders defense was just far too good. I mean, both sides were loose for periods, but yeah, the Canes just couldn't settle into the game. The Crusaders actually managed to go about their business. So big win for the Crusaders. Congrats to them. I will probably pick you for every game here on out because it looks like you're the real deal once again after one kind of blip week. Yeah. Speaking of blips, The other game, after this one, I watched this one as well, was the Sunwolves going into Sydney, or it wasn't Sydney, it was Newcastle, and getting a win. 31 points to 29 over the Waratahs, so it was 4 tries apiece. For the Waratahs, it was Phipps, Cameron Clark, Michael Hooper, and Kurtley Beale. For the Sunwolves, it was Grant Hadding with 1, and Samisi Masarewa with the other 3, so a hat-trick to that man. Very good. Unlike the first game where the lead only changed once, the lead changed multiple times in this game. Phipps went over early. Parker kicked the penalty. Clark went over for another one. So they made it 12-3 to the Tars, and it was looking kind of like business as usual. But then Hutton got his try. Went over Beale, really. Even though Beale set up Clark's try. So Beale was kind of hot and cold. Massarero got a try. Sunwolves took the lead. Halftime, it was 17 to the Sunnies and 15 to the Tars. But then Hooper got a try early in the second half, took the lead again. It looked like it was going to be kind of back to regular service. The Sunwolves would fall away. But no, Massareo went between Mason and Hunt, and it was Beale who'd kind of shot up out of the line, so left a big gaping gap, and Massareo went straight through it. And then a few minutes later, Mason threw a ball to ground, and Masaru was the first guy to pounce on it. So Sunwolves were up 31-22. Beale did get a try through a little quick tap, smart play, heads up play when they had penalty advantage, kind of like 65 minutes. But from there, they weren't able to score any more points. So it's the Sunwolves with their second win of the season. It's their first win in Australia, as far as I understand it. So congratulations to them. I am going to take every chance I can get to wear this jersey before it is the end of the Sunwolves. So hey, why not? They got a win. Congratulations to them. Now both sides were poor with their kicking from hand. To be fair, I think at least Folau kicked it out on the full, so did Hayden Parker, so did Mac Mason, so did Van den Heever. I think there were others as well. There seemed to be a bit of a breeze and people just couldn't get a handle of it. I guess that's one of the things about the Tars taking their games to multiple stadiums, is they're not as familiar with the conditions or the pitch as much as some of the other grounds. It does make a difference. Like Phipps at one point kicked the ball out before the halftime clock had kicked over, so it was just a bit lax from the Waratahs. Penalty count in this one, interestingly, could be a key factor. Stop clicking your pen. It was only 5 to the Waratahs and 6 to the Sunwolves. We've seen in the last couple of weeks where they've lost games, they've been penalised like double the amount as the other team. Not quite as bad as the Rebels 20-1, but when they lost to the Blues, there was a heavy penalty count against them, and the same with the Lions. So when the penalty count remains kind of with a bit of parity, the Sunwolves can get a win. So yeah, interestingly, like a lot of the stats were pretty much even. Like I said, there was only one penalty between them. Their tackling stats were both 81%. There was only one tackle between them. One side made 91, one side made 92. The possession and territory, there was only 2% between them. These are all from ESPN. 48-52 in favour of the Sunwolves. The run meters was only like 20 meters in it. 371 to the Tars, 399 to the Sunnies. So very, very even in a lot of these areas. One area where the Sunwolves don't let you down is that Hayden Parker with his boot. That was the difference in the game. 2 points in it. It is that one conversion extra that the Sunwolves kicked that the Waratahs didn't. It was 4 tries, 4 conversions and a penalty, to 4 tries, 3 conversions and a penalty. So that's the difference. It's what Hayden Parker can give you. He's just Mr. Consistent. Although one of them he kicked and it was just inside, and one of them he kicked, it looked like it was going to go way outside, but he bent it back with the wind to just go straight over the black dot. So one looked a little bit lucky, although it was still skill. The other one was just pure skill. Yeah, very impressive kicking display from him. So disappointing for the Tars. No team at the moment in their Aussie conference seems to really be able to step up, put in some consistent runs and go ahead. And to be fair, the Waratahs could have lost the reverse fixture. So if Parker hadn't missed that drop goal, yeah, they could have lost that one as well. So I guess over the course of the 2 games, it's kind of fair that each side gets 1 win, because they were very even over the 2 games. Tars will be disappointed. Very good for the Sunwolves. Maybe they can build on this from here. I guess we'll see if they can keep getting those penalty counts even. Then that'll be going a large way to it. But yeah, those were the 2 Friday games. We got 4 on the Saturday, so it is interesting. It makes the Reds against Rebels clash a wee bit more spicy, this result, because that Aussie conference is really anyone's to take. You guys let me know your thoughts on the games. How did you think they went if you saw them? How disappointed were you in the Hurricanes? How impressed were you by the Crusaders? Likewise, Tars and the Sunwolves. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.